And we're live. CZO, the animated character here with the pickle. Ladies and gentlemen, YouTube clown CZO here, and we are going live right after WWE Extreme Rules, and we are coming at you live with the recap. I am CZO and my partner, the pickle here.
And it was a great night of wrestling for the fans that like the Extreme Rules. We started off the night finding out breaking news that Daniel Bryan would not be attending tonight's Extreme Rules. And with that said, he is still the reigning Intercontinental Champion. And he did not, obviously, defend his belt tonight. Daniel Bryan has a history of injuries. And my question for CZO and the rest of the people that are listening is, should they strip Daniel Bryan of the Intercontinental Championship?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and say that over the past 2 weeks, due to real life and how fun is real life, ladies and gentlemen, I have missed a couple of Monday Night Raws, I'm sad to say, and I have to definitely just state that I am the of Daniel Bryan, and I got to say that if he's injured right now and the Intercontinental Championship doesn't get defended, I want to say that I don't want to see him stripped. I want to know what the injury is and follow up on it. I want to go ahead and let you know tonight we didn't get to see the Intercontinental Champion, and we did not get to see the yes movement. So that's my take on it. Pickle, what do you got to say?
My take on somebody that does watch every single Monday Night Raw live is that my take on the Intercontinental title is that I actually really enjoy that belt. It's one of my favorite belts that they have because it's a belt that you always see being defended on most Monday Night Raws. And they, with not having the champion there, it brings away some of the matches that you look forward to on Monday Night Raws because that championship is the one that's usually being defended because they don't always defend the World Heavyweight Championship, which I wish they would defend it a little bit more.
And I'll go ahead and say that tonight at WWE Extreme Rules, we started off with the pregame. We had Bad News Barrett versus Neville, and that was a definite great starter to the night, and the match was amazing. Neville has got a great in-ring performance going on. He's definitely different, completely fresh. I mean, if you're thinking that you're going to come in and see some basic moves from a wrestler, that's not what's going to happen. He's bringing some fresh new moves you've never seen before to the ring, and he's not just doing it in the beginning and prolonging a match. He's doing it throughout the entire match. So his stamina's up to point. He's got a good build to him, and I'm just expecting some great things to come from him.
Yeah, like you said, CZO, Neville is a great up-and-comer wrestler, a high-flying machine. The guy is built, like, he's got to be one of the most built guys right now in the WWE. I mean, he's got a great physique to him. I love those high-flying wrestlers, and the way he lands his moves are so smooth. When he does those high flyers going out of the ring to the outside, he just lands and he's got his arms up in the air right away. He's a fun, entertaining, energetic wrestler. We haven't yet to see him on the mic yet. I don't know how much time he got on the mic when he was in NXT. I know they don't get a whole lot of mic time in NXT in general because it's more about the wrestling, but I'm interested to see what he'll be like on the mic because that's a big part of the character. I know that's important to you, and obviously it's important to me.
It is, and I believe it's important to all the WWE universe out there. Mic skills are important. In-ring ability is important, and he is bringing definitely a different persona to wrestling. And my biggest thing is if you're going to be high flying, if you can do it at a high elite level, my biggest thing is to be able to do that night and night again. So, you're not hurting yourself and you're not landing incorrectly and only being able to do it, maybe twice a month. So my biggest thing is with this new Novell character is that to see that he consistently do it on a consistently basis. So I believe he can. Like you said, I do see the focus within him, and I do believe that he is performing with that focus and landing those moves and not hurting himself. Because we all know, like you said, especially with Daniel Bryan, you come in, you get big, and then you hurt yourself, you're gone for a while, you're going to be irrelevant. So I hope that he can land these moves and not hurt himself.
And Novell came up with a big victory tonight over Wade Barrett. I was a little surprised to see him come up with the upper hand. I thought because he was a, up-and-coming wrestler, it was a big spot for him to step up and face Wade Barrett tonight, who's a 5-time Intercontinental Champion. So it was a fun match. It was a lot of high-flying moves. I think Wade Barrett is a great wrestler who maybe deserves a push, but I don't know if we're going to get that out of him because of the injuries that he's had in the past. But I like the move by seeing an up-and-coming wrestler get a big victory. And he has had a couple big victories in the last couple of weeks. I know you were absent on a couple Raws, but he's been out there every single Raw, and he's won a few, and he got screwed out of a match with Seth Rollins, but still put up a good match in the Raw the other night. But good to see him come up with the victory. Going on to the actual start-off of Extreme Rules, the first match that we did have tonight was Dean Ambrose, the Lunatic Fringe, versus Luke Harper.
Yes, and going on to that, I do want to touch base on the Barrett versus the Novell match. I do want to say one more thing, that what I look for is that I do believe that Bad has the great persona and the great in-ring ability. I'm looking for a lot from him, and it was a shocker, like you just alluded to, that Novell did pull off a victory so fast. This might be his third or fourth or fifth match in, WWE from NXT, so it was kind of shocking to see him pull off a victory over that. I do want to go ahead and say that we should probably be expecting to see these matches in the pre-show before these pay-per-views now. It's becoming a custom, so I do want to throw that out there, that they are throwing out some good matches in the pre-game shows prior to, pay-per-views. But like you said, going on, let's move on. The first match of the night was Dean Ambrose versus Luke Harper in a street fight match, and they had the
Chicago street fight match, and remember, fans, the event did take place live in Chicago tonight.
And a street fight match, you can only settle it in the ring. You gotta pin or submit in the ring. It's a street fight match, so really there's no rules outside of the ring. You can beat the opponent with whatever tool you can find out there, but you gotta finish it inside of the ring. With that said, the first match of the night, ladies and gentlemen, ended. Like it went on, and we skipped right into the second match because the first match of the night went on, and they drove off of the parking lot. Luke Harper and Dean Ambrose in a car, so they were wrestling outside of the match from the first match, and the second match actually took over.
Well, as soon as the match started, there was chairs, kendo sticks, covering in the ring, and it was very physical, a lot of weapons being used right away. But like CZO said, it was a very quick match. They quickly made their way to the back of the ring, and they got in a car, and Luke Harper was in the driver's seat, and Dean Ambrose jumped in the passenger seat, and they took off, and no one knew where they went for a while. So we go on to the second match, and we will be getting back to the rest of that match later. But the second match was Dolph Ziggler versus Sheamus.
And that match was actually they title it as a Kiss My Arse match. So obviously, you know what that means. They are going to wrestle, and the loser is going to kiss the ass of the winner.
It's kissed my ass. The match started off, Sheamus came out, and for those of you that haven't been following all the Raws in the last couple of weeks, Sheamus came back about a month ago, and he has a new heel persona. He comes out to new theme music, has a new mohawk, red haircut, and basically the fans just hate him. I love it. I think it was the best thing to do with his character, because I think that when he was a face wrestler, he just wasn't getting over the way that I think Sheamus should. So it's good to see him getting a bigger push being a heel. But going on to this match, everybody knows that Dolph Ziggler puts on a show. He is the show-off after all. But Sheamus nearly dominated this entire match. There were several moments when Dolph Ziggler had, some good defense going, putting on some high-flying moves. But I thought it was pretty much dominated by Sheamus for most of the match. And Dolph Ziggler actually got a quick pin count, rolled him over for a 3, and he did end up winning the match. CZO, thoughts on the match tonight?
Yes, again, like you alluded to, Sheamus is being brought in now as a heel. I am a big Sheamus fan, just like you said, and I do like to see him as a heel coming in. I'm not the biggest fan of his new mohawk, and I'm trying to get on board with it, but I am a huge Sheamus fan. I agree with you and have jumped on the bandwagon that Dolph Ziggler has been kind of the new showstopper and show taker away of the night. And tonight I felt that it was a great. However, I did not feel it was a typical Dolph Ziggler steal the match night to night. I felt it was a solid match. I'm not going to complain with it. And, I thought it was great, a good match. I'm not going to say it stole the match. It's not my match of the night. I will go over my match of the night later. It's not my match of the night.
We've seen better performances by Dolph Ziggler, and we're used to him having stealing the show for the most part. He's one of my favorite wrestlers in the WWE, so I'm very biased towards him. I don't know if Sheamus did him any justice in the match tonight, because to me, Sheamus just couldn't keep up with how fast Dolph Ziggler is. But some wrestlers are like that. I do like Sheamus a lot. I, on the other hand, am a fan of his mohawk. I think it gives him more character. And CZO, you are a fan of the characters in wrestling, and I think that having that mohawk it brings out something different in him with the whole heel persona. I like it. I like it a lot, actually. I'm interested to see what they're going to do with Sheamus, because there's a lot of feuds that they can put him with, so I'm excited to see that. But like you said, it was not the match of the night. With that said, we're going to go right on to the next match, and it was the WWE Tag Team match with The New Day versus Cesaro and Tyson Kidd.
And with that, let me go ahead and jump in and just give my... I got to say, Cesaro has always caught my eye. He has a great build. He is the Swiss Superman, and I love his in-ring ability. With that being said, now he's teamed up with Tyson Kidd. And I got to tell you that Tyson Kidd, just for you guys out there in the WWE universe, Tyson Kidd's a great wrestler, okay? We get these great personas, and we get these great in-ring abilities. I got to tell you, watch Tyson Kidd. The guy is great. I mean, the match was great tonight. I like the New Day. I like the New Day. My opinion with the New Day, I think they need to make them go heel, in my opinion. And I really think that Kofi Kingston and Big E are good guys, but I think if they're going to be teamed up with Xavier Woods, that they're probably going to need to make them a heel, and that's my opinion. And so this is my steal of the night. My steal of the night, my match of the night. CZO is putting it down right now for everybody out there. WWE Extreme Rules Recap 2015. My match of the night, my steal of the night was definitely this tag team match. And I was really impressed with it. I thought Big E doing a spear outside of the ring, everybody living up to the hype. The match was awesome. It was my favorite match of the night. What do you have to say about that, Pickle?
Well, I will say this. Although it was not my match of the night, and I will get to my match of the night, I did like it a lot. It is one of the matches that stuck out when I was watching it. I was so impressed with the match from the start to the beginning, even though I was surprised by the end of the match, and we will get to the end of the match in just a moment here. I really did enjoy that match. That also, if you have watched Raw the past couple weeks, you would have noticed that a lot of the fans are starting to turn on the New Day. Now, my opinion of the New Day is when they first came out, I was not a fan of them. I don't like watching these three guys dance around because I think all three of them are really talented wrestlers, and I thought that it was ruining their career that they were in this bogus, group that I really didn't think did any justice for who they are, what they could represent to wrestling. With that being said, now that they are turning heel, and we could see that the fans are really starting to connect to Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, and the big reason why fans are connecting to them is because they're great in-ring wrestlers. We don't know what they're like on the mic because they don't get any mic time, but they're so much fun to watch in the ring. That's why the fans are connecting with them. Now the New Day, now that they're turning heel, I think this could help their whole persona of New Day. A lot of people want to take a look at New Day and they compare them to the Nation of Domination, the group in the 90s, and era that me and CZO grew up watching. Now, I don't think you can compare them at all right now because they're nothing like them, not even close. They would also have to add a fourth member, which I think they should add a fourth member to that group. I think that would be good for that group. But maybe now that they are going on a heel run, they will make them a little bit more serious instead of a bunch of goofballs going out there, because I think that they have what it takes to be a heel group and come up. Now, they did win the championship tonight, so we're going to see. I guess they're going to give them a run. I think that they'll be feuding with Tyson Kidd and Cesaro for a while. I'm sure the titles will go back and forth for a little bit. But this could really help the tag team division in the WWE that has its on and off moments, in my opinion. Some weeks it's great with the tag team. Some weeks they just can't get it together. But right now, I think that it's going in the right direction because I'm a big fan of all four of the wrestlers that competed tonight.
I'm going to go ahead and jump in there. I want to go ahead and just say the tag titles are they're probably my second favorite title. The W Championship and then the Tag Team Championships. And I just got to say, my hat's off to Kofi Kingston and Big E. They're part of New Day right now. And while everybody's out there listening right now, I just got to say, I'm a huge Kofi Kingston fan. He's always entertaining in the Royal Rumble, obviously. Everybody knows that. He does crazy stuff in the Royal Rumble. And Big E is just a big monster. So he is like a big Kane. He just does whatever Big E wants to do. Power slamming everybody. When you team them up, you got Kofi, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Pickle, but Kofi Kingston and Big E, I think even teamed up as a tag team champion, before they teamed up with the New Day with Xavier Woods. I think they did. I mean, I might be wrong there, but I'm pretty sure.
They were teaming up, and then I'm pretty sure what happened was Xavier Woods came out at one of their matches, and at first I remember he was wearing like a tie and it looked like they were going to turn heel at first, and he came out, he was like saying some stuff to them. I thought they were going to turn heel. Then you didn't see them for about a month, and then they came back with that whole dance gimmick. So I think the idea was actually to turn them heel at first, and then maybe they thought it wouldn't be a good idea, so they tried to, give them this whole dance gimmick, but now they're realizing it's not really catching on, so they're going to go heel again. And if you notice during the match, they kept saying that Xavier Woods was chanting stuff out, preaching stuff out. So I'm pretty sure that they're going back to their original plans. It really does seem like that. Do you remember what I'm talking about, CZO?
I kind of do, but at the same time, I do want to say that if they're going to use Kofi Kingston and Big E as the tag team champions, I think it's great. I do think there's a great storyline for them to go heel and let Xavier Woods lead that heel and really be the strong, dominant heel. Maybe Kofi Kingston and Big E aren't necessarily the big part of the heel, but Xavier Woods is. I could see that being an awesome storyline. I also do, what I really appreciated tonight was, aside from the tag team match, in my opinion, stealing the show, I thought it really did. I thought every performer was doing spot on. They were doing crazy moves in and outside of the ring. They were blowing my mind. It stole the match for me. It was my favorite match of the night. I'm giving the match of the night for CZO at WWE Extreme Rules. It goes to the tag team title and
All right. Well, good stuff on the tag team match. We'll see what happens tomorrow night on Raw with see if that feud is going to escalate to tomorrow. But we're going to go to the next match. But before the next match, actually, there was an interview with Renee Young and the New Day celebrating it. They were backstage and they basically were just all smiling, and you could tell that heel gimmick is coming with what they were saying. And during the match is when you saw Dean Ambrose and Luke Harper coming back in an SUV, and it was kind of funny because I'm pretty sure they came back in a different car than the car that they left in. I don't know if that was on purpose or what, but I'm pretty sure it was a different car. And basically, they just made their way back to the ring. And CZO, do you want to get into this match?
Yeah, so we had the New Day, going ahead and talking about their new title reign and picking up the tag team titles. And they were standing there. And then the next thing you know, like the Pickle alluded to, they pulled up in the Jeep, and Dean Ambrose jumped off the top rope top of the car, and jumped right onto the New Day, and they started battling each other. So that's where match number one actually continued. Continued that match right then and there, and they brought it right back into the ring. They threw chair after chair after chair, and when we keep going, they threw chair after chair after chair, and they kept throwing chairs.
At least 20 chairs, ladies and gentlemen. At
Yeah,
least 20.
so many chairs. They threw so many chairs into the ring. Oh, man, so many chairs.
And basically, they were in the ring. There was a couple moves being thrown down on top of the chairs, and then finally, Dean Ambrose hit Luke Harper with the Dirty Deeds finisher on the chair, got the 1-2-3, and the Lunatic Fringe took the win for the night. And I was very happy to see Dean Ambrose come up with a big win at a pay-per-view, because I think there's a lot of matches that he got screwed out of winning that I thought he would get the win. So maybe this was a good push for him. I was happy to see him get it. It could have gone either way. They're both two up-and-coming wrestlers. Dean Ambrose, Luke Harper, they gave it a lot, and they've been giving it a lot week after week after week on Monday Night Raws, and they did show up tonight in the pay-per-view. It was kind of fun to see them go backstage, go away. It kind of brought me back to the old days when, wrestlers used to go backstage all the time, car accidents, all that. I liked it a lot. So good to see Dean Ambrose with the win, and we'll see what happens from there.
And just like the Pickle said, I am going to agree. I did like to see Dean Ambrose and Luke Harper go at it again. They beat the crap out of each other. They always have great matches. I was definitely happy with it. I do want to say, when they left in the beginning, you kind of didn't know where they were going, but you knew it was an open book. And that was great. So you knew it was an open book, and you knew something was going to happen. At the same time, in the beginning, you were just like, it kind of ended. Like, I mean, it was just like 1, 2, 3, gone. He had no idea where they were, and so that part I can understand where people could see, a disconnect there. But they did bring it back, and they brought it back, right after the New Day winning the tag team titles. So it was good. Right after the New Day winning the new tag team titles and Dean Ambrose coming out and beating Luke Harper, they brought out Cena defending his United States Championship against Rusev in a Russian chain match where you have to touch 4 corners. To go ahead and start us off there, Pickle.
Well, first of all, this was the first Russian chain match ever in the WWE. Now, the WWE has had matches that are very similar to it, where basically they're tied together by a rope and you have to touch all 4 corners. I personally love matches like that. Back in the 90s, they used to have a lot of matches like that, and I wish they would do it more. It's very interesting to watch this match now because they have lights that come up every time one of the wrestlers hits the corner. So when John Cena hit it, a green light came up, and when Rusev hit it, a red light came up. Now, this was a good match, ladies and gentlemen. It wasn't a long match. I would expected to see this match go on a little bit longer than it did, but it was a fun match to watch because watching them get thrown over the ring, being dragged by this Russian chain, it was cool. It was very cool, and I enjoyed it. And it started off, with Rusev coming out, and Lana was by his side, and there was definitely some tension between Lana and Rusev, and we'll get more into that throughout this match. But the bell rang, and Rusev sends Cena over to the corner and splashes him. The green light comes on, and the first corner has been touched. Rusev touched the second corner, but Cena takes him out. Cena tags 3 turnbuckles, but it's waved off, and Rusev cuts his momentum off. Rusev works over to the Cena and tags the turnbuckle, but Cena cuts him off. Rusev sends Cena over the top rope, and he uses the chain to pull Cena up by his arm. Ladies and gentlemen, Cena was hanging by the chain on the bottom of the outside of the ring while Rusev was in the inside of the ring. I've never seen anything like this happen in wrestling. It was new. And then Rusev tangled the chain up in the ring, came out, and started jabbing him right in Cena's ribs. It was different. I like to see different things happen in wrestling, especially in matches like this. And I enjoyed it a lot. CZO, what are your thoughts on the beginning part of this match?
I gotta go ahead and say you covered it pretty damn well, and I gotta just say that what I was looking for, what I thought was gonna happen in this match was, we had John Cena. He's the United States champion, and this is what I'm like so big on right now is like week after week right now, John Cena is holding the United States Championship open, I guess you could call it, or challenge. And I'm all about it. I think it's so great. I think it's awesome. And I'm going to keep week after week, and I'm going to be talking about it week after week. I think it's awesome. This is a pay-per-view. Yeah, we had the United States Championship against Rusev.
And ladies and gentlemen, I don't mean to cut CZO off here. Just having a small little technical difficulty. CZO is going to fix that on his end over there. But we're, going on to CZO's point about the United States Championship, that is an awesome thing to look forward to on Raw because you never know who's going to be fighting John Cena every single night. It could be anybody. It helps other wrestlers step up. And when we saw Neville come up and step up for it, it was exciting to see that. So we're gonna go back to CZO here. I think we got things cleared up. And CZO, go back into what you were saying.
Yeah. So what I was saying basically is the fact that we have a champion. Our champion that's a United States champion right now happens to be John Cena. But the fact is that he is doing an open challenge to anybody back in the locker room right now. So anybody could come out and challenge for the United States Championship, and I think it's great. You know, one of my favorite things of WCW was throwing the tag team titles on the line, and that's one of my biggest things is that, you know, they throw the titles on the line week in and week out. So the fact that John Cena's doing this thing to me, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, yeah, I'm happy that we're gonna have at least another month of this going on because I didn't want to see John Cena lose that match strictly because of the fact that I want to see this open challenge happen. It's a good thing for John Cena's career right now because let's face it, he can't always be the world heavyweight champion. Now, he's been it a number of times, ladies and gentlemen, so seeing him have gold around his waist is good. So I really like that he's the United States champion. At one point, I thought that they were going to get rid of that belt, and to be honest, I thought they should have gotten rid of that belt at one point, but I'm really happy that they kept it because John Cena's the one that's really carrying that belt. And, you know, maybe after when he finally does lose it, it will be more relevant, you know, in the future. I think John Cena's the one person that could do that, and I think he is. So we'll see what happens with that. But we're going to go on to the next match here, ladies and gentlemen. And the next match was everybody's favorite, the one everybody came to see, the match of the night. Just kidding, ladies and gentlemen. It was Nikki Bella versus Naomi. Now, CZO, we both know how we feel about women wrestlers.
And I wanna tag in there, man. I'm gonna tag in. I want you in. You started it off great. I thought it was great. The next match of the night, right after Cena versus Rusev, we had Nikki Bella versus the new #1 contender, which was Naomi. And I gotta say, me and the Pickle, we've been big diva, we've been big WWE, you know, female wrestling fans. We've loved them all, from Trish Stratus, from everybody, Lita, all the wrestlers out there. We love them all. I gotta tell you, tonight I wanted to say one thing that I want to post up there. CZO is going to say this. Nikki Bella versus Naomi tonight. I think they held their own, and I think they actually put on a decent show tonight. I'm going to give them props tonight, where I normally don't, so I am going to give them props. So, Pickle, what do you got to say? From tonight, I wanted to say that Nikki Bella is a bigger diva compared to most divas right now. She's a larger woman. She looks great. I'm not going to take anything away from her. She looks great. I think her in-ring ability is decent. And like we both say, you know, that it's always just decent. But I think tonight, her versus Naomi, I thought they had a pretty good standard match. And I could have seen Naomi take the title away tonight. But they did not allow that to happen. And, you know, it is what it is. You know, I thought it was it is what it is. You know, I thought it was good. What do you
Now,
think?
it was a good match considering that Paige wasn't in the match. Now, I think Paige is the best women's wrestler right now. I think she should be the women's champion. I think that I don't like seeing the belt around a woman unless she truly is the best wrestler that's out there. With that being said, Naomi actually did impress me tonight. Nikki Bella, she put on a good match against her. I would have liked to see a title change. That's my opinion. I don't think that Naomi has been the champion. I thought it would have been very interesting for her to win it, and then for her to feud with Paige because they already had something going on. I thought tonight was the night that she was going to win it. I thought it would have been good for her career. Maybe she'll get it down the road. I don't know, because the women's title, it just seems to go to select few in the women's division. You know, we haven't seen it around people like Natalya in a number of years. It's mainly been AJ Lee and Paige for a while. Nikki Bella stepped in, took it. I'm still not a huge fan of the Bella twins, but I will give them credit for what they have accomplished in their careers aside from wrestling. Now, Brie Bella, I don't really think that she's a great wrestler at all. She comes out with her sister. It almost seems like they're both the women's champion. But with that being said, it was an okay match, and that's that. I don't want to get too into the women's matches until they really start to impress me. Maybe they will one day, but right now I don't think it's as good as it could be compared to NXT and to TNA wrestling. With that being said, let's move on to the next match. And the next match tonight was Roman Reigns versus The Big Show. And CZO, if you don't mind, I'm just going to go ahead and start off this match because I want to say that to me, this was the match of the night. This was the match that I've been waiting for out of Roman Reigns. Not to say that he doesn't put on good matches, because he does, but I thought a lot of his matches in the last couple months weren't as good as a lot of other wrestlers that were out there. But this was the match of the night for me. I thought that they put on it was a last man standing match. It was very physical from the beginning until the end. And I'm going to start it off with Roman Reigns. In the very beginning of the match, he brings a table from under the rings, and the fans start to go nuts. Show cuts him off and puts the table back under the ring. Reigns blocks a move and shoves Show into the ring post. Reigns with the big drop stick to the apron. The referee counts on Big Show as Reigns brings the table back from under the ring. Show gets up at a 5 count and sends Reigns flying into the barrier. Show breaks the table in half this time so it can be used. Reigns grabs the kendo stick. Yes, there was kendo sticks. And starts hitting the shit out of the Show. And then the Show shoves him into the ring post. Let me tell you guys something. The Show took a lot of kendo sticks to the chest today. If he doesn't wake up with marks all over his body, then he's a freak of nature. But I saw him took a lot of shots with the kendo stick today, along with a lot of chairs. There was a lot of weapons being used the entire time in this match. And Reigns put on an awesome performance. I'm going to jump into the ending of this match, and then we're going to get thoughts from you, CZO, on this. But basically, the match ended with Roman Reigns spearing the Big Show from one announcer's table into the next announcer's table and went right through it. And then Roman Reigns took the announcer's table that wasn't broken, lifted it up, and put it on top of the Big Show. I thought that was an awesome show of strength. I've never seen somebody take a whole table and just lift it up and put it on top of him. And basically, he got the 10 count from there, and Roman Reigns was your victor tonight. For me, match of the night, A-plus match for Roman Reigns. Was happy to see it from him because he's the one that needed a match like that. And CZO, what do you have to say about that?
Yes. I'll go ahead and say that we are coming up with the end of Extreme Rules, and we are finishing this off. We are going to go ahead, ladies and gentlemen, lay it down for you. Lay it down for you. We're going to go ahead and lay it down for you, and 1, 2, 3, lay it down.
And ladies and gentlemen, CZO has had one too many tonight, like Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Stone Cold.
Back in the days, and I'm just gonna spoiler alert. The last match of the night was Seth Rollins versus Randy Orton, with Seth Rollins taking a victory over Randy Orton, basically finishing off with his own move, the RKO. that he said was banned. Wasn't sure why he was allowed to use it, but he did. And then he escaped the ring and he won. So he's still the champion. We'll see what happens on Raw. And until next time, he's CZO, I'm the Pickle, and we're off.
The animated character, CZO and the Pickle. We're off.